What's up, mobile gamers? It's Draws or Gigs back with another T3 video. You guys already know we're in the middle of a series. We've got another Vanguard game with Fort this time. Ooh, number 37 Neon player. That's pretty cool. Congratulations to whoever that is. But this video is going to be on Fort. My videos for the tank series have kind of been getting like middle of the road views. So if you guys don't want to see those games and like hear my thoughts on the heroes, then I can just do the tier list if you want. It's no big deal. But we'll see how they do, because that's what I was thinking of doing. But if you guys are like not liking them and you want me to just do the tier list outright for the class, then that's what I'll do. Because it seems like a lot of other people are just doing the tier list straight out instead of just doing basically what I'm doing, which is where I'm just gonna... Oh, that's weird. She got me through my shield. I must have been standing outside of it a little bit. But what I really like about Fort, I thought we had these guys. Yeah, I have them muted. That's weird. I can still hear them. Hopefully you guys can't. Anyways, what I like about Fort is how good he is at holding down different parts of the battlefield. So you'll see the best thing for me when I think of a tank is flexibility. There's the Gatlin. She is definitely a crazy one. I'm not going to focus too much on her, just because she is pretty crazy, and I think she kind of influenced the meta a little bit too much. Hopefully the Jabali can kind of... Yep, there we go. Alright. That's what I like about Fort, is the ability to just place the shield down and in 10 seconds you get another one. And honestly, it's really, really nice. Jabali, you have a shield, but he's pretty stationary as a tank, as a Vanguard. I'll use those interchangeably throughout the videos, but the main point is that I just don't know, as far as my thoughts on the different heroes. I think being able to just pop down a shield is really nice, and I think oh wow, dude, Osas is obviously S tier. There's no need to even go into that, but Fort is really crazy and his shield is really big. It's kind of the same size as Jabali's. Obviously it's curved, so it's a little bit different. And we did get real players this time, for those of you guys that didn't enjoy the bots. But pretty easy win, because we've basically got all these clan players here. They're on like the same clan, so we're gonna win this pretty easily. His amount of damage is crazy. I mean, he can 2-burst some heroes, and there you go. That's a win right there, pretty easily. So I would say Fort's very, very good. We'll see if we can get a slower queue, or a shorter queue time overall, and see how that goes, because he's really decent, but my queue times have been really crazy. I did turn on advanced mode, but it's just been really, really hard to find any games. And we're going to just talk to you until we get a game, honestly, because I have a lot of thoughts on Fort. I think he's really good, and he's a little bit more difficult to play. If you look at the Vanguard heroes, I would say the hardest one to learn how to play is probably Zero Kelvin, honestly. Jabali is probably the second easiest. Victor is kind of difficult to play. I don't know. He's also pretty simple. We got the crazy load times in this match, which is really nice. Let me know your guys' experience with the advanced mode. I have not been having good luck with it. This is probably the best load time I've ever had with the load times that we have. I mean, it's been really crazy, especially, maybe it's just the time I play. But I think Fort's very easy to kind of get a hold of. He's kind of that mid-range skill gap. I would say Fort is very good, and so Jabali's probably easiest, Zero Kelvin's hardest. You could say Victor's easiest as well if you want to, but I think Fort's kind of in the middle. He's got a niche kind of element to him, and the fact that he can put his shield down basically every 10 seconds is absolutely crazy, and that's not even counting how long it takes to destroy the shield itself. So if they are taking like 10 seconds to destroy the shield, you've always got a shield, which is insane. So I think he is a little bit better in control. I would say most of the Vanguard heroes are, because the point is centralized and it doesn't move, right? So as far as the mobility I mentioned before, it doesn't really matter too much in control because you just want to hold down the point. But if you look at something like Payload Escort, yep, there's the Gatlin play right away. I really do not like Gatlin anymore. She needs a nerf. I don't know what they were thinking about not nerfing her. Seems pretty crazy to me. What, is she behind us? Oh, she's behind us. Okay. Let's, we're gonna have to... Yeah, this is the problem with tanks, is you get into a match like this, and essentially it's me versus the full team. It looks like they have all the people that were on our team last game. They're all in a clan. We'll see how this goes here. Probably going to be a loss for the books, you guys, on this match. Not a lot of confidence in our team here. Yeah, I think Ford is really good. Like, see, this ability right here, you just give yourself a shield. That's pretty simple, you know what I mean? But his other ability, right, the actual shield, instead of the damage mitigation, it is something you have to learn how to use and how to play around. And if you don't learn the most crucial part of his kit, it's going to be very difficult for you to get any use out of him. And I would say he does pretty decent at countering the Ruby, right? If she doesn't have her... yeah, killed from behind by the Skatey. But I think he does decent at countering Ruby, especially if you wait to use his shield. So what I usually do, like I did with that Ruby, she was low health, so I put the shield down anyway. But normally what you do with Rubies is you just wait for them to pull up their stun, and then boom, shield. And it takes about the same amount of time to come out. So if you can nail down that timing, he's very, very strong. I think he's strong in general. Oh, yep, the Gatlin ult. And that is the Gatlin's the problem, honestly, you guys. It really is. I hate saying that because it's like, oh, well, just if you're good, you can counter her. But for the normal player, somebody who doesn't really worry about that, they just play for fun, they don't want to counter. They don't want to have to worry about that. They just want to play. And if they have to change off of their main or their favorite hero just to, you know, get, what are we at, 4%, they're not going to want to do that. And that's why I'm not really a fan of what Gatlin is. And I think Fort is a really good play. He is mobile, like I mentioned. He's decently easy to pick up. He's not like super easy, you know what I mean? Oh, just Gatlin damage too. Gatlin's damage is so crazy. It's just insane how much damage she can put out. And Ford does not mitigate that at all. I mentioned in my Zero Kelvin video, he does have a way to mitigate it. He has the invincibility. But if you play smart against the Gatlin, I've been killed by pretty much everybody else right now, but you can use your shield and your temporary defense boost to kind of turn the tide and kind of do that shoulder peek on the Gatlin. I think that's probably the best bet, not the best way to handle her, but if you don't want to switch, see, like right there, if you wait on the Ruby, I mean, we're gonna die from the Gatlin. God.
Don't fear.
It's not toxic because she hasn't been nerfed. Like, she should be nerfed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The truth is, she needs to be nerfed. I know a lot of people have been saying that she's not as crazy in higher tier lobbies, but I mean, for just a normal player, it's very difficult to counter her. And I think she needs nerfed for sure. I think Fort, if you take away Gatlin, is very, very strong. He has a very good presence, and we'll just keep talking while we load in. Hopefully we can keep this queue time going because it's been nice. But Fort's very flexible, and his kit's really easy to learn. And if you can master it, he really gets into a field of his own that some of the other Vanguards just can't really match. I will say one thing that does bring him down is 0 Kelvin. His snowball goes through the shield, and Fade's dash goes through the shield as well. And that's kind of something that you might try to think about when you're picking a Vanguard, is majority of the time, the one that's going to kill you is another Vanguard, because you're going to be face-to-face with them, fighting them. Make sure you guys are doing all the season challenges and the Operation Party Stars and all that. But you're going to be facing majority Vanguard a lot of the time. You saw in that last match I died 3 times. Once was to Gatlin, once was to Skady, and then I don't remember the other one. But those Vanguards are very one-on-one battle-esque. That's who you're going to fight most of the time. So we're going to get a pretty long queue time, it looks like. And that's okay. I think Fort's really good. They should give him some skins. And I think he's probably going to land in the middle of the road, honestly. It's the same place that I would put his skill level and how hard he is to learn. Like, his skill gap is where I would probably put him in general on the tier list, because if you're looking at it objectively, he has a decent shield. It's a pretty mobile shield, but all of the other heroes have a mobile shield, right? He has a defense up, but none of the other heroes have a defense up except maybe Victor, if you kind of count that. It's like it spins the shotgun into like a damage mitigation, but you can't shoot while you do it. And with Fort, you just pop the button and you can use your gun at the same time that you're shooting. So he's over Victor in that regard. He's a little bit easier to counter people than Kelvin is, but he also has that shield that's not as easy to stop as Fade. You know, Fade does have his second ability, which is a shield, but it's not as mobile as Fort's. Fort can put his pretty much anywhere, and it has the curvature to it is really nice when you're in a fight, because the whole team can use the shield, and it's only slightly smaller than Jabali's, and I think it's not as easy to break down and play around as Ruby's is. If you're facing an enemy Ruby and you're a very smart player and you know what you're doing, you can sometimes give a Ruby a hard time. I will say she will probably rank pretty high on the tier list, even with the nerf. But Fort's kit is still very, very good. He does have his passive, receive temporary shield if not taking damage. That's not going to come into effect very often. In 5v5, payload, escort, and control, you're going to be taking damage. That's your role as a tank. So to have a passive where he regains shield if not taking damage is basically a passive that is not going to be used. So I will say, however, one of the nice parts of his kit is the gravity swirl. Now, if you guys don't know and you're thinking, okay, well, where might some of these other heroes rank? You go through the hero list, and you've got all these heroes that have these ultimates that require the enemy to be in a certain spot. And with Fort, you can actually pull them in, and then you can combo with a Johnny ult. You can combo with a Christina ult. You could even combo with a 0 Kelvin ult if you wanted to. I think his potential for ult combinations is very, very strong. So we will jump to the match once we load into it and get some real players. Alright, mobile gamers, we were in queue for 10 minutes and did not find a match, so I guess that was a fluke when we had that super short queue time. So we'll just go ahead and keep talking about Fort. I did get a ranked match going, about like a 5-minute queue time, which was nice. Let me know how queue times have been for you guys, like I said in the comments. But also let me know what you think about these videos. If you guys just want the tier list, that's totally fine. And I think I like doing the videos in general, but I know some of you guys are wanting a tier list right now. You're like, please, I want a tier list. I need to know who to play, because to be honest with you guys, I don't know how you guys do it, but some people, when they play ranked, they're like, you know what, I'll just play whoever gives me the best chance of winning. I don't care if I like the hero or not. And for me, that's not how I personally play. I just play with whoever I enjoy. And so that's why I'm not really taking that into, oh man, yep. So when your damage dealers go out and die like that, it's never a good thing. We are going to try to get a little damage here on the enemy fort. Looks like we got a damage dealer in the back there. So we will try to help out against the Ruby. And that's what I like to do with all of the tanks, honestly, not just Fort, is get next to your tanks and your healers and your damage dealers. Everybody needs to kind of gather up where you have a shield and a better chance at winning each team fight. Because honestly, these guys are going to be your best friends. If you have a healer, always stay by them pretty much no matter what, because it's going to make you stronger. So that's kind of general advice for every hero though, you know what I mean? You're stronger together. It's harder to take down multiple heroes. And don't be afraid to retreat as a Vanguard. The other Vanguards, Victor and Fade, are good at getting into the fight, and the Brawlers, which is what Fort is better at like sustained fights. So right now, I kind of knew I was going to die. I felt it. Got some health loss going on. I didn't really have too many teammates next to me there, which is kind of unfortunate, but I am not too worried about it. I think he's a really good Vanguard, and I can see, honestly, Fort's probably going to be one of those heroes. When I do the tier list and you guys are like, oh, he should be an S, and some of you guys are like, oh, he should be an F, I can totally see that. I think he's one of those Vanguard heroes that is going to be jumping spots, honestly. It'll be very easy to just put him in a different area, because that's how you think of him in a skill. Ooh, were we dead here? We might be dead here. We don't have very many people to back us up, unfortunately. So, got a little... Oh, I almost jumped into that. I did not mean to. Yeah, I was trying to avoid the Ruby ult, which I knew was coming. But we do have a healer with us, like I mentioned. I think Fort does really good with team play. A lot of these heroes, you'll see, they don't have the best solo potential. A lot of the Vanguards, you need a good team to be good with the hero. Yep, and there's the Gatlin pick. It's only a matter of time, you guys. If you're playing anybody but Gatlin and you don't have one on your team, somebody's gonna pick her up because she's just that good. And she just is. She's very strong, and Fort is very right. And I think that he doesn't have the solo potential that somebody like Zero Kelvin or Fade has, because with Fade you can rush somebody and get them out of the area, and with Fort you're pretty much stuck. If they have a better hero than you do and they're able to get damage on you, so like that 1v1 situation was pretty good. And then you come over and you just you see a Gatlin and you're dead on sight. Instantly. Instant death when you see a Gatlin. It doesn't matter who you're playing, and that can make it tough. I don't think he has that much solo potential compared to the other Vanguards, but then again, I'd say it's probably pretty average, because, like, you know, you look at somebody like Victor, and he, not necessarily does he not have any uses, but he's very limited with what he can do. So we'll probably call that a video, and let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of the Vanguards, honestly. If you want to give me your opinions on every single one of them, feel free. But mainly Fort, just kind of see what you guys think of him. I know we do have some Fort fanboys on the channel in the comments every now and then. So if you guys think Fort's good, let me know down in the comments. And if you think he might be on a lower tier, let me know why. Let me know where you think he sits. I'm probably going to put him in the middle to top of the tier list. I don't think he's necessarily the best, but he definitely is one of those heroes when you're ranking them on a tier list. He can go up or down, honestly, depending on who you talk to. So we'll try to be as unbiased as possible once we did get that tier list out. But the next video is likely going to be on Fade or Victor. Well, it's actually, we'll do Ruby, so we finish off the brawls. Then we'll do Fade and Victor if you guys are liking the series. If you're like, let's just do the tier list, we can definitely do that too, and we'll just do the tier list and see what you guys think. So definitely let me know in the comments what you want to see next, and we will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.